Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about this very interesting cymbal. It is essentially a old K ping ride. This thing is extremely heavy. It's 20 inches and we'll check the exact diameter. Just to be doubly sure we're giving you guys correct information. It is exactly 20 inches. So usually the 20-inch old Ks come in a little bit below 20 inches. This one is right on 20 inches. And it weighs 3,145 grams. So this is a very, very heavy old K. And old Ks, as you guys know, are very valuable because they're rare. They're a finite resource that is running out. These things crack often because they're so old. The alloy gets more brittle over time. I've talked about that in plenty of other videos. So I always am, a little hesitant to take on old K modification projects. But this one was interesting to me because it's so heavy. It's got a great shape to it, great size bell. It's just so heavy that you can't really play it in many styles of music. And the customer wants this thing to be much more of a versatile sound, traditional jazz ride sound. And right now, it doesn't quite hit that bar. So let's check it out. Kind of bright, kind of pingy, a little bit loud. I played it pretty quietly because otherwise I'd cut my head off. And we're going to give it a shave. So anytime I get an old K like this, I don't want to touch the top. I love the patina, the aged look. I like the stamp on there. I want to keep that intact. So really we're going to remove the entirety of the weight from the underside. It does have a faint hint of the signature there. So I would love to keep the bell untouched, but it'll be this super bright pingy bell. But I can come in this section here and I can remove a lot of weight to get it into a really nice place. I'm not going to take this to a paper thin zone, but I want it into a medium thin or medium zone for a ride cymbal so we can get some crash out of it, a little bit more of the life and the complexity. I want that to come out more because the more weight that's on the cymbal, the more all of the goodness is just being hidden by just the mass. And so I'm going to take mass away, open that up, and then dial in a taper and all that. But I'm not going to do any hammering because of the age and the brittleness of the alloy. So this is going to be solely a lathe modification on this old K. And I'm really excited to hear what it's going to turn into. 3,145 grams, I'm probably going to take it down close to 1,000 grams. I want it to be in the end around 2,200 grams. That's a really nice medium light range for a 20-inch cymbal. You can get a lot of different sounds out of it, and it's going to be much more usable and much more functional in different styles of music. So let's head over to the lathe and start cutting. All right, so all of that weight you saw come off the cymbal, and it's only down to 2,550 grams, so about 600 grams removed. Already we're going to hear a huge difference in the sound. So now we've got a crash to it. You could tell I spent a good bit of time near the edge to get the bottom tapered. We got a good amount of chatter happening at the edge. I don't know if it's going to catch in the light there, but chatter right at the edge. The profile's a little off, which a lot of these old Ks are, and so on my lathe, it's kind of doing this number as it's spinning. And so as I'm out at the edge, no matter how steady I am, there's going to be a sense of kind of like the bit jumping and creating these channels, which is called chatter. So I have a way of dealing with that, and I'm going to do a little bit of work to that edge to clear that chatter before I do the final bit of weight removal. And I don't know how I'm feeling about the bell. I'm going to probably talk to the customer about if they're okay with losing the ink signature stamp, just so that that bell could come down, because it's still rather bright and piercing, but we are hearing the body of the cymbal, the bow of the cymbal, come alive a little bit more when you hit the bell. A little bit cutting and bright. I would like to mellow that out some, but if the customer wants to keep that ink stamp, it'll stay, and I'll just continue doing the weight removal. So we still have another 400 grams, 400 grams left to go. And I'm going to do that weight removal, then I'll let it sit for a couple days. I'm going to add an artificial patina to get it looking a little bit more like the top surface. And then once it's had time to rest, I'll hop back on and show you guys how it sounds at the end of this modification, and you guys can let me know what you think. All right, here's the cymbal after additional weight removal, a patina application, and then a little bit of burnishing on top to tighten back up the tension. Anytime you lathe from the underside or hammer from the underside, you tend to kind of loosen off the stiffness. And so burnishing or blunt force lathing is a way to kind of stiffen things back up if it loosens off too much. It loosened to a point where it was letting out this low drone that wasn't the most pleasant. So the burnish has kind of tightened things up, raised the pitch of that drone up high enough to where it feels a little bit more blended. I talked with the customer, and they decided they wanted to keep the bell untouched. So no weight has been removed from the bell. They said this will be great as a kind of a Latin jazz kind of cymbal, really strong, clear bell. And I agree with them, actually, after hearing it in context, hearing it rested, it sounds really nice. And you can always control that kind of piercing bell with good technique. So I've added a little bit of an artificial patina on here. Obviously it's not the perfect shade, but it will grow, and it will darken over time. And the final weight on this thing is 2,264 grams. So yeah, down in a nice medium thin range for a 22. My 22s are actually typically a lot thinner than this. I usually have them below 2,000 grams, but the customer with this one was wanting a little bit more presence and clarity. So enough talk, let's hear how it sounds. So to me, actually, it doesn't sound like it weighs in the upper 2,200 gram range. It sounds thinner. It kind of has like a thinner feel and a thinner sound, which I like. Not thinner sound as a trait, but more like it sounds like it is thinner. And that to me is really, really nice, because then those cymbals feel much more inviting to play when you're sitting behind them. But because of the weight, because of the mass, it's going to really translate well out front. So the other thing I wanted to mention about this cymbal, I said it has a great shape at the beginning, and I didn't really talk about that shape, but let's try to get it to focus. It's a really beautiful medium shape cymbal. It's not too low, it's not too tall. It doesn't have any super present dips or lumps or bumps in areas that would cause hums. It's a very well-rounded, well-balanced cymbal in terms of its shape. It doesn't really have any kind of like hard hook at the edge, so it has a nice crash to it. There is a pretty significant, I would say, significant trajectory change when it hits about this point on the cymbal. It kind of dives a little bit faster, but there's a nice steady trajectory all the way up to the base of the bell from the edge. And for this reason, there's really nothing popping out after removing nearly 1,000 grams. There's nothing note-wise popping out in a way that's just kind of ugly when you get up near the bell. So let's take this cymbal into the other room where there's the drum kit. I'll play it in context with a kit. You can get a feel for it there, and then drop a comment below. You know, let me know what you think about this mod, if you like it. Let me know what you think about the concept of, you know, the idea of modifying vintage cymbals like this. It is a tricky one for some people. Some people really don't like that I do this, but for me, it's always about it's the customer's cymbal. And if it's a cymbal that they want to keep, that has some kind of sentimental value to them, and they want to modify it so that it will be played more, that's all I need to know. For me, it's all about making these instruments functional as opposed to just having them be simply collector's pieces that sit behind a glass, display case and just collect dust. I'd rather these instruments be used and appreciated and be used to make music. So please drop a comment below. And subscribe and hit the bell if you want notifications on future videos. My name is Timothy Roberts. Thanks so much for watching.